Let's take a look back at the top 12 starting pitchers from this past season. Up next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5 on Thursday, November 21st. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Chris Towers. The top 12 starting pitchers in 2024. We'll break these down in groups of 4, and the top names, we had Tarik Skubal, Zack Wheeler, Chris Sale, and Paul Skenes. So 2 Cy Young Award winners, a Rookie of the Year, and Zack Wheeler. Chris, these 4 very well could be the top 4 starting pitchers drafted next season as well.
Yeah, I think Sale is the one who probably won't be in that top 4. I have Corbin Burnes as my top 4, so as my number 4. So it's, for me, Skubal, Wheeler, Skenes, Burnes. What you're seeing in very early ADP is Skenes, Skubal, Wheeler. I think Burnes is 4th. And I can't get there with Paul Skenes as the number 1 pitcher. And I think this is a case where if you surveyed every single fantasy baseball analyst and maybe every single fantasy baseball player, the median would not be SP1. I don't think everybody's going to have Paul Skenes. It's one of those, it only takes one type of things.
Yep.
And I think there's going to be one person in every league who sees Paul Skenes as what he probably is, which is a generational talent, maybe the best pitcher in baseball. I think you can make a case for. I have nothing against Paul Skenes. I think he's incredible. I'm not so convinced he's better than Tarik Skubal and Zack Wheeler that I can overlook the fact that he's only done it for 130 something innings at the major league level. Tarik Skubal, the last 2 seasons, 270 plus innings of the best pitcher in baseball. Zack Wheeler has been among the best pitchers in baseball for the better part of a decade now. So for me, it's just there's a security and there's enough upside with Skubal and Wheeler that I'm willing to take them ahead of Skenes. Sale, I just don't know. We had this like lost in the doldrums stretch of his career where he kept getting hurt and there were all these random injuries. There was like a bicycle accident and a fractured rib and all these weird injuries. The skill set didn't really change all that much. He stayed healthy in 2025. He had a back injury at the end of the season. We don't know how serious that was, how much it would have affected him, how much it would have limited him. I just don't know how much I want to bet on a 36-year-old following up with another elite season. Look, he's like SP6 in my rankings. I'm not that out on Chris Sale, but he's not quite a top 4 guy for me.
Last year was the year to buy Chris Sale. Now that you have to spend, a
top 40 pick,
a top 3-round pick on Sale, it does make it a little bit tougher given his injury history. SP 5 through 8, we have Logan Gilbert, Shota Imanaga, Bryce Miller, and Seth Lugo. No surprise with the Mariners. They had the best pitching staff in all of baseball. I mean, the fact that Bryce Miller finished this high obviously is a surprise.
A little surprising, yeah.
Yeah. What about Imanaga and Lugo here, Chris? I mean, Imanaga, amazing rookie season. Lugo, kind of this mid-career breakout, awesome year with the Royals. I mean, what are the chances here of those 2 guys repeating this success?
So Lugo is, I think, less likely to repeat his success just because we have a longer track record of him being not bad, but look, he was like a 260 ADP guy a year ago. I don't think the underlying skill set has changed enough in a year for a 34-year-old Seth Lugo to justify, I don't know, what, a 200 pick jump in ADP, which is what it would be if you took what he did last year at face value. Nobody's doing that. I think it should be more like a 100 pick jump in ADP. I can justify drafting Seth Lugo. Let me see where I have him ranked. It's 164th. Early. His ADP is 167. Like that.
There you go. Spot on.
That feels fine, right? Like a volume guy. If you took Tyler Glasnow as your number 3 starting pitcher and you want some stability, I think Seth Lugo's that. You look at the second half ERA, it was like 383. There were some really, really good starts. There were some really, really bad starts in there. I think that's more what I'm expecting. A lot of volume, pitches for a pretty good team, although a team I do expect to take a little step back next year. And more like a mid to high 3s ERA for Seth Lugo. Shota Imanaga, there is some room for him to regress to more like a 350 ERA guy. You know, the home run issue, if more of those happen with runners on base, I think that would lead to some inflation. Strikeouts are good, but not great. So I think he's fine, more like an SP1.
And SP 9 through 12, we had Corbin Burns, Framber Valdez, Dylan Cease, Ronel Blanco. One of these things is not like the other. That would be Ronel Blanco, but we're kind of up against it here. So if you want to hear more about Ronel Blanco and the top 12 from this past season, you can listen to our full-length podcast, Fantasy Baseball Today. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, and we will be back again on Saturday. Bye-bye.